Good morning, everyone. I will share my screen and start the session. Today topic name methods deals with the object. Okay. So here already we aware of what does it mean by object, right? So object means physical entity. Object is the physical entity. Object means object is a physical entity, right? Physical entity. Object means storing the data. Object means which stores the data. Which stores the data, right? Okay. For creating objects, classes are mandatory. Classes are mandatory. So based on the classes only, we can able to create the objects. Okay. Next point is new operator, which is used to new operator is used to create the objects. Create the objects, right? And then the next point here it is objects will be stored in the objects will be stored in the heap memory in the heap memory. Okay, this is clear. Object is a physical entity. Object means which is used to store the data. Object means which is used to store the data. And for creating the objects, classes are mandatory. New is the operator which is used to create the objects, okay. And the object will be stored in the heap memory. The objects will be stored in the heap memory, okay. So in the real time projects, in the real time projects in real time projects, so methods deals with objects only. Methods deals with objects only. Deals with objects only. So every data in real time methods deals with objects only. So like we will pass as a input to the method, and then we can every we can deal with objects only. We can deal with objects only. So this very important. So for example, I will show you. Mm, I will open my notepad. This is my notepad. I will take two classes. One class is driver class. Second class is any other class like employee, student, any other class I will take. Okay. For example, this is I will open any of the project. SRC basic programs. This is my basic programs, right? So here I will create two classes. Okay. Simply Control N. there shortcut will get. Here I am creating one class which is the driver. Okay, this is the driver class, and my driver class is having the main method. This is visible for everyone, so I will increase some font size. Okay, my main class is driver. Now I will take the one more I would say main method, and I will take one more class. Okay, the class name is, I would like to take the student, and from here to here this is the scope of the student. Here I am passing the student properties like student ID, which means int ID, and the second one is the string student name. Should I take like this? Yes, we can take like this. So these are the properties, right? So student ID is the property of the student, and string name is the property of the student. Okay. So this is the one class, student is the one class, driver is the one class. So can I call the student class inside the driver class? Yes, we can call. So basically, project means, project is a collection of classes, right? So one class can also communicate with another class. This is the one class, student is the one class, driver is the one class. One class can also communicate with another class. So how will you communicate? Normally, if you want to, so normally the JVM knows only the main method, right? If you if you if you access the student class, how will you access? How will you call? We need to create the objects. So simply I am creating the objects, new student, and then what will happen internally? So I will so what will happen internally? I will parallelly use MS Paint also. Then I will explain. Mm, Take parallelly MS Paint. I'll take the okay. There we have two classes, right? One is the driver class, and second one is the student class. Where the class code, where the two classes code will be stored in the initially in the JVM. Hmm? Class code, where the class code will be stored in the JVM. Hmm? JMA architecture everybody knows, right? This is the JVM architecture. So basically, the entire the class code will be stored in the method area. Hmm. Okay. The first this is the JVM architecture, and inside we have this is the method area, and then here I am taking heap memory. Okay. So we have created two classes. One class is driver class, and second one is student class. These are the two classes, right? One class is driver class, and the second one is student class, right? Second one is student. Okay. So I have created two classes, and I am creating the relation between two classes, student and driver. So I need to access these two properties inside the driver class. So every execution one file can contain multiple classes also. So in this case, I am taking two classes, and you can take multiple classes also. Okay, one file can contain multiple classes. I am creating the relation between the driver class and student class. So I am creating new is the operator which is used to create the object, right? So this object I cannot directly reuse the object. That's why I'm storing this object in some reference variable name, some reference variable name. So that reference variable name you can take anything. So in my case I am taking, this is the variable, right? This variable data type is the driver. This variable data type is the not driver. We are creating the object for the student. student. Okay, student. So what will happen here? So the object got created. The object got created here. So this reference variable name is student. Are you guys clear with my point? Student. This is the object reference variable name is the this one. Okay, this object got created inside the heap memory, and this is the variable name, this is the reference name. So this reference name is the this one. Okay, if I execute this one now, for example, if I would like to take the sysout statement, system.out.println, and then I would say student.id, and then I would like to call first one is student.id, and then I will mention some string values. Okay, and then here I will mention some student dot name. Okay, if I execute the file, then what might be in this case, what I will get the result. Are you guys clear with my point? If I execute this file, so what should I get the result? Hmm? Nothing will come. Okay, we'll run and see. Save the file. We'll decrease some font. Okay. We are getting zero null now. We are saying nothing. Hmm? If you not assign any values, then JVM will assign default values. JVM will assign default values. Okay, this is the whenever you create the object, so every object will maintain copy of the instance variables. Copy of the instance variables. This student is the object one, and if you haven't initialized the variables, then the JVM will assign default values. Based on the data type, it will assign the default values. ID is having the data type int default value is the 0. If you not assign the any value, it will assign 0 as the default value based on the data type. Next we have the string, right? So if you haven't assigned the any value, JVM will provide the default value string for the null. Name name equal to name equal to null. Name equal to null. Are you guys clear with my point? Every object will maintain copy of the instance variables. Okay, if you not mention any values, then the JVM will provide the default values. So instead of default values, I will pass some values. How can I pass? Simply you can use the student variable name, and then you can pass the values. Dot ID equal to, I am mentioning 300. Okay, next same thing, student dot name equal to I am passing some. Okay, I am passing some name, right? I am passing some name. Now if I execute the file, then what result should I get? I will get the 300 and Krishna. Why I am getting? So if I am initializing the variables, right? If you haven't initialized the variables, you will get the default values. You will get the default values. This is clear? Okay. Now you guys tell me, I am creating the object new student object. Okay, student, and this one I am storing in one reference variable, that is the s1. Okay, this s1 data type is the student, right? Okay, now the same statement, I'm copying this same statement, I am pasting here, and here instead of student I am replacing with s1. I am replacing with s1. Okay, now if I execute my file, then what should I get the result? Hmm? 300 and Krishna. Then second case, 0 and null values. Why 0 and null values are coming? Hmm? We are not assigned any values. Okay, okay. Next thing, the same thing I'm doing. This is the object s2, and then s2 dot id, and then s2 dot name, s2 dot name. In this case, here also should I will get 0 and null. In this case also I will get 0 and null. Why I am getting every case, like in this case I am getting 0 and null, and in this case also I am getting 0 and null. Why? Because here we have created one object. That object name is the s1, and here we have created one object. That object reference variable is the s2. Every object maintains copy of the instance variables. Okay, every object we have to initialize the instance variables. If you not initialize, then the JVM will provide the default values. JVM will provide the default values. So I will execute and then I will show you. Then you will get the some clarity on it. If you see, so first variable only I am getting the values. Remaining two variables I am not getting any values. I'm not getting any values because we have to initialize. Every object maintains copy of the instance variables. We have to initialize the copy of the instance variables. Now here I will initialize the same way s1 dot id equal to any number I am mentioning. I am taking like 007, and then here I would like to mention s1 dot name equal to some any other name I will give, some Madhu. Okay, then in this case if I execute the file, instead of 0 and null I will get values. So here if I take the double, then I what default value should I get? 0.0t. Okay, 0.0t. So default values is very very important. Okay, if you not assign any values, then JVM will provide the default values. Now if I execute this one, you will get two objects variables, Java applications. Now you can see 300 Krishna, 7 Madhu. So this data is coming from two objects. Now are you guys clear with my point? Every object will maintain copy of the instance variables. Whenever you assign the values, it will replace with values. So initially if you not provide any values, then it will initialize with default values. Whenever you initialize the values, then it will holding the initialized values. In this case we mentioned 300, right? And then the name equal to which is string format, right? Which will be initialized like this. Okay, this is clear. Okay, so after that, for example, write a Java method to print the student object, to print the student object student objects. So if I give the like assignment for you like this, then how will you do this one? How will you do this one? Write a Java method to print the student object. Write a Java method to print the student object. Hmm? Hmm? Class names? Class name as a student. Okay. Okay. I will take the class name public class student. Okay. This is the scope of the student. Next. Hmm? Here only should I write my method? Huh? Here only should I take the main method? Hmm. Write a Java method to print the student object. This is the one class, and then next should I take another class? Hmm? Should I take another class also? Okay. So I will take this is the class, student is the one class, and here take one more class. The class name is, I will take public class. Okay, I am taking driver class only. Okay, from here to here, this is the scope of the I would say method, scope of the class. Here I will take the main method, right? Public static. Okay, void main. Okay, here I have taken, this is the scope of main method, right? Next, which for whom should I create a student object? Uh, Here I will create object student. Student, I have created the object. I am storing this object in some reference variable. Next, next, hmm, I'm this my question is, write a Java method to print the student object. To print the student object. So the same program I am taking. This is the student class, and this one is the. So I'm removing these all the things. I'm removing these all the things. Main method. So we have the two classes, student, and the second one we have the driver class, right? So my question is, write a Java method to print the student properties. So for that purpose, I will take the method that is void. Method name is the print data. Print data. The method name you can take anything. Print data. Okay. So here in this method I can pass parameters in two ways. So in this case we have the two. In this case we have the two parameters, right? This is the two properties. The student is having two properties, right? So I can pass the parameters in two ways. For example, the same method I will take here. I will show you how you passed two ways. So I will take here, I will come here. This is the method, right? And the student is having int id and string name, right? For this method, we can pass the parameters in two ways. One is directly we can pass as a parameters like int id, comma, next string name. Okay, and if the student might be having like long some account number. Okay, and if the student have I would say the next thing is institute name. Okay, uh, we need to mention data type as the string institute name. Okay, so now the student is having the four-way properties. So if the student is having the four properties, should I pass like this int account number, and I would say second one is the string institute name, string institute name, string institute name. So you can assume here I have only four properties. Instead of four properties, if the student might be having the multiple properties, right? If the student might be having 20 properties, so should I go for this approach? If I go this approach, it will increase the lines of code, right? So we have to take the all the variables inside the class, and all the variables we can pass input as a parameter to the method so this is the one way, and we have the another way, that is the same method. We can take the print data method, and we can pass object as a input to the print data method. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the approach in the real-time scenarios we will follow. We can pass parameters as to the method in two ways. One is that you can directly pass parameters like the whatever the properties it is having, we can you can pass. But this is not recommended way. This is not recommended way. So here we have only the four properties, then we are trying to write like that. But in case what will happen here, we have the 50 properties. If you go with this approach, if you line 50 properties, we will get 10, 20 lines of code. So this way is not recommended. This way is not at all recommended. Okay, this way is not, you can two ways we have, but this way is not at all recommended. This is the recommended approach in the real-time scenarios. Everything you can deals with. Print data is the method, right? And we are passing student object as a input to the method. Okay, this way is the recommended in the real-time scenarios. We will deal like this only. Every method will deals with the objects only. Every method we will deals with the objects only. Are you guys clear with my pointer? So this is the recommended approach. This is not recommended approach. Okay. Okay. Now print void data is the method, right? Now I need to pass student object and student s. S is the reference variable, right? And here I will write system dot out dot println sysout statement, system dot out dot println s dot id, and then string, you can mention string, and then we can mention with s dot name. Okay. Okay, student is the one class, driver is the one class, print data is the one method. Print data is the one method. So which method is this one? This is the method, right? Print student print data is the one method, right? This is the instance method. How can I call the instance method? By using objects. By using object, right? Okay. Now I would say we have to create the object. For which class should I create the object here? Which class should I create the object? Hmm? Student class. Student class, like whom are saying, can you please raise your hands? Student class. Student class. You next. You three members. Hmm? This is the instance method. My requirement is I need to call this instance method. For which class should I create the object? This is my question. Driver class. Okay, a driver class. So driver class is the correct answer. New driver, and so I am storing this object in some reference variable. Okay, this reference variable data type is the driver. Okay, now I need to call the driver class. So t dot print data, t dot print data student, right? Now it is throwing the error, meaning we need to create the object for the student class. Okay, so simply student class, new student class, I would say student, and then I have to store this student object in some reference variable, and this reference variable data type is the student, right? Now if I execute the file, then what should I get the result? 0 and null values. 0 and null values. Are you guys clear? Are you guys following? You will get the 0 and null values. Why? Because we are not initialized anywhere. Here we are not initialized in enter the file, we are not initialized anywhere. So if I execute this file, I will get the 0 and null values. 0 and null values. Okay, every object will maintain copy of the instance variables. Now instead of getting the null values, so if I get the like I need to initialize the instance variables of the s object. For that purpose, s dot id equal to some number, and then next add s dot name equal to such. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the recommended approach. So like this, in the real-time scenarios, everything you can deal with the methods deals with the objects only. Methods deals with the object only. We can directly take like this also. We can directly, instead of doing this one, we can direct like take this like this also. But this one is the not recommended approach. This one is the not recommended approach, right? This one is not recommended approach. So instead of that one, we will every class will make it as the object. That object we will pass as an input to the method. Print data is the method. For this method we are passing student as a parameter to the method. Parameters are the values which will give input to the method. Okay, which will give input to the methods. I'm saving this one and then run a Java application. We'll get the 500 and such. We can get the 500 and such. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the recommended approach. We can make it as every class as a object. That object will pass as a input to the method. As a input to the method. Okay. So we can take one file can contain number of classes. Okay, you can take any classes, but whatever the main class is having, main class should have the access specifier with as a public, and remaining classes no need to mention access specifier. Okay, don't need to mention access specifier, and every program execution will start from main method. Every program execution will start from the main method. So for the control, I would say the control first it will comes to fourth line, and the where it will I would say start the execution. When the controller will come to the sixth line, then what it will do, it will create the object inside the heap memory with the reference variable t, with the reference variable d. And when the controller comes to eighth line, what it will do, it will create object variable in it will create object in heap memory with the reference variable s. So initially like it will assign the default values. Here we have assigning some we are passing some values instead of default values. It will assign these values, and then we are printing these values. We are printing these values. We are printing these values. Are you guys clear with my point? So this is the in the real time scenarios. We in the real time scenarios. So all the methods deals with the objects only. All the methods deals with the objects only. Okay. So I will share the assignments on this methods concept. Please do today assignment and yesterday assignment as well. Okay.